Hi, and welcome to another episode of Better Golfer Today. I'm your host, Tyler Dice, and this show is presented by Tyler Dice Golf. We have another great show planned for y'all today. Today's main topic is going to be a series that I'm putting out, and the first part is going to be on utilizing technology and having it give you a big advantage over your competition. And the main focus of that is going to be on putting in today's podcast. As always, I will be sharing what I'm working on, and today's tip of the week is going to be on approach shots. So let's get started. So today's main topic is on utilizing technology and having it give you a big advantage over your competition with putting. So what does that mean, right? What I'm talking about here is I'm talking about using all the pieces of tech that are out there, what works, what doesn't work, and having it benefit you in regards to being able to beat other people or play better than other people. So this is about literally, beating people. It's about using what's out there, what's available, and, being the best at it. We're not really messing around here. What I want to talk about today is, using technology to give you an advantage, to give you a specific advantage over somebody else. So believe it or not, but a lot of people out there are not using technology to better their games like they should, or they could. A lot of golfers could see a significant improvement to their games if they just used what was out there. So what tech in particular is available for your putting? I would say the most well-known piece of technology out there, at least for people that are serious about their games, would be a SAM Putt Lab. The SAM Putt Lab tells you everything about your stroke. It puts out information about your path, your putter face at address, putter face at impact, how repetitive you are, where you hit the ball in the putter face, attack angle, rate of closure, and about 35 other parameters. It's some pretty cool stuff. I have a lot of experience. I shouldn't say a lot of experience, but I have a fair amount of experience getting my data on the SAM Putt Lab, and it is definitely eye-opening. It will definitely, the best thing about it is that it tells you everything that you do about your stroke. So it doesn't tell you anything else except what you do. And they do a really good job calibrating it and setting it up. And so you have to be pretty specific with like how you set up. And so, you can't be real inconsistent with your setup, because if you are, then it kind of doesn't get calibrated correctly, and you could get some funky, wonky numbers. And so you don't want that. But as long as you're pretty good with getting your setup, you're pretty repetitive with your setup, it shouldn't be any problems. But what it does is it has a sensor, and then there's a piece of plastic that's also another sensor that's attached to your putter. And it gets turned on, i.e. or calibrated, when you're at address. And then once it syncs up, you hit putts. And then based upon that initial reading, it will tell you all the other data. Does that make sense? So it's some pretty cool stuff. Again, it gives you a lot of information. It's really, really cool, the amount of information it tells you. And it tells you, again, how consistent you are with impact, how consistent you are with your stroke, how consistent you are, on where you hit the ball in the putter face, how consistent you are with how, your attack angle. It tells you all this stuff, and it's really cool. So it gives you a lot of really good information. And if you're someone that, say, maybe you don't know a lot about your stroke, and you want to know more, or maybe you're just trying to fine-tune some things with your stroke, the SAM Putt Lab is the perfect solution for you. Because again, it tells you everything that you need to know, and it tells you it in about 5 minutes. It's really fast. You're not having to spend an hour, 2 hours, or 3 hours averaging out data. Literally, it's 5 putts. It's that simple. And so most of the time is spent setting up for the 5 putts. because we all know how long it takes us to hit 5 putts. It's about a minute. It's really, really quick. It's really easy, and it gives you a ton of data, and it's really, really useful, and it can definitely give you that edge. Because here's the thing. You may think you struggle with your green reading, okay? But in reality, it could be how you putt the ball, meaning that maybe you're always putting the ball with your club face slightly closed. So if you have putts that break right to left and you close your face, the ball's going to want to break a little bit more right to left. This is for a right-handed golfer, mind you. And if you, say, have an open face at impact and you have a left to right putt, that putt is going to go more left to right. And if you have a right to left putt and you open the face, it's going to stay straighter. And if you have a left to right putt and you close the putter face, that's going to stay straighter. Make sense? So if you don't know this information about yourself, these are things that you could miss or think that it's something else that's wrong with your game. So knowing the information, knowing specific details about your game, about your putting stroke, can really pay huge dividends to how you read greens. Because again, if you close the putter face down and you know, hey, like 9 times out of 10, if I mishit a putt, it's going to be a closed putter face. So what does that mean? That means you should play probably 2 to 3 more inches of break on your right to left putts and a little bit less break on your left. A little bit more break on your right to lefters and a little bit less break on your left to righters. Because when you miss hit that putt, it's going to straighten it out or cause it to break more. Also, it tells you, again, like how consistent you are. So maybe you hit 5 putts, and maybe only one of them has a closed club face. Then you really probably shouldn't do anything different to your reads. So maybe it is your green reading that's wrong. So again, this tells you all that information. It's really, really good. And I mean, I'll tell you what, it's definitely been eye-opening to me because it definitely made a lot of sense of things for me. So again, I would highly recommend getting on a Sand Putt Lab. They're expensive, and so not a lot of people have them. And you kind of have to do some digging and some finding to figure out who has them around you. If you happen to live in the Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill, Pittsburgh, Apex, North Carolina area, I know some people that have them, and I can point you in the right direction. So if you shoot me a message on Facebook or an email, I'll be happy to point out the people that have those machines, because I know of 2 people that have them. Actually, I think there's 3 people, now that I come to think of it. But I don't know how good the people are that use the one. But I know 2 people that are fairly competent. One person is really competent. The other person is fairly competent. But both people I would send people to. So if you're in that area, my area, I can point you in the right direction. Next up, let's talk about a flight scope. Now, I think some of you have probably heard of a flight scope before. But you're like, Tyler, flight scopes track the golf ball flying through the air. And they do. But the new one tracks putts. The flight scope will track putter face at impact, putter face at takeaway, ball strike position, ball speed, ball horizontal trajectory, ball vertical trajectory, and ball deceleration. And skid distance. There you go. It's obviously not as much information and data as a Sand Putt Lab, but if you already have a flight scope, or if you know someone that has the newest one, the X3, I do, they have the capability to gather you some data. The newest flight scope, the Flight Scope X3, has the ability to get all this data. I haven't tested mine out yet, because I've been more concerned with full swing stuff, and my course's greens are air-fied right now. So I don't think the flight scope would give me very good data with the ball bouncing around on holes. So we have not used the flight scope on my greens yet. But maybe in 2 weeks, when they finally heal up, because we've had some super cold weather still in North Carolina, I might be able to get some cool data for you and explain things a little bit better. But anyways, the flight scope's pretty cool. Again, I don't know how easy it is to work, but I can't imagine it's too much more difficult than setting up the flight scope for full swing work. In fact, I would imagine it's probably a little bit easier, but that's just me. Next up on our list is a TrackMan. And I know it's used to measure the golf ball flying through the air, but the TrackMan also does putting. At least the newest TrackMan also does putting. I don't know if the older ones do. The TrackMan tracks ball speed, launch direction, skid distance, roll speed, speed drop, roll percentage, distance, side, effective stamp, and total break. I don't know what effective stamp means. I hope that's not a typo. And so that's a lot of data, and it's a lot of good data. And the nice thing about TrackMan, and I don't think FlightScope has this capability, is that you can actually connect up to 6 iPhone cameras to the TrackMan, and they will sync up with the shot that you just hit. So I don't know if you're aware of like video. I'm sure some of you are out there with videoing yourself and having that sync up with your machine. FlightScope will let you hook up 6 cameras, and they can be iPhones. So that's pretty freaking awesome. So if you have the cradles, or you got whatever, you got 6, I don't know why you'd have 6 iPhones. I don't. But if you did have 6 iPhones and you had 6 cradles, you could hook them all up, and someone could hit putts, and you can gather all that data for them. Or you can sync up all those different camera angles with the data that comes off the TrackMan. So, I mean, that's pretty cool. I would think the FlightScope has that capability, but I don't think it's available yet. Maybe in the future. I hope. I'd love to have that ability. So, but I don't know. But yeah, so the TrackMan's pretty freaking awesome in terms of like what it can gather. Next up, you have high-speed cameras. High-speed cameras give unique insights into what you are doing on a frame-by-frame level during your putting stroke. Just like with full swing, there are things the naked eye just can't pick up. High-speed cameras help make up for that. The cameras can pick up tendencies with your arms or hands, or even pick up slight movements in your body that you just might not ever notice. And this is true. So I had a slight issue with my putting. It happens. People get bad habits. When I was taking the putt back, my hips were rotating ever so slightly. It was like a half inch, but they weren't rotating back. And so that was causing me to take the club back a little too far inside and attack the ball from too far to the inside. No good. So something like that, a high-speed camera can pick up really easily. You just got to be paying attention to it. But anyways, yeah, so high-speed cameras are pretty awesome. Now, the key to improving is picking a system and sticking with it. A lot of people like to try and jump around from machine to machine, and when they don't get instant results, they move on. But like most things, you need to stick with it and see it to the end. Otherwise, you're just selling yourself short. These machines can be pretty expensive. The high-speed cameras aren't too bad, but the other stuff can get very pricey. So it's always best to find someone in your area that has one of the machines and figure out a way to get on it. Some instructors will let you rent it during non-peak times, and that is a great way to get some numbers and to get a good idea of what is going on and what to work on. So if you, again, live in the Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill, Apex, Pittsboro area, that's where I live. I know the people that have the stuff, and I can definitely point you in the right direction. I have FlightScope X3. I know people that have the new TrackMan 4s. I know people that have Sam Putt Labs. And most of those people will have high-speed cameras as well. I will also have high-speed cameras soon, some cool ones. But that is not yet available to me, but soon it will be. So yeah, it's always best if you can try it out a little bit to get a good feel for it. Not all these people will let you come out and use their equipment or are even willing to rent it to you. The machines are expensive, and they just don't want to take the chance of them getting broken by someone because they want to rent it. Which I can understand, because not everybody wants to pay the warranty for them. So yeah, they can get expensive. But if you know the right people, you can get on them and you can get some great numbers. Again, the numbers really pay off. So what do you do? Where do you start? How can these machines help you? First off, you don't know what you don't know. And if you don't know, you're missing out. This is so true in golf. In golf, ignorance is not bliss, okay? It's not. Not knowing there's a hazard in front of the green and trying to rush up onto the front of the green will not end up well for you, right? I mean, if there's a bunker there, or I'm sorry, if there's a water hazard there and you don't know it's there, and you try and skip something up the front, it ain't going to work out. Okay? So, this is something I see too many golfers try to do. You need to have the right information about you if you're going to get better. Getting just some of the information can start. Just some of the information to start can be a big boost to your game. But knowing what your tendencies are, where your common misses are, where on the putter face you hit the ball, etc., these things matter and can go a long way to getting you better. Knowing what you do influences what you and how you should be practicing with your putting. I've always been focused on doing drills that build repetition, whereas in the past, I've worked a lot of technique and just drilling technique, and that didn't help me produce the results that I wanted on the golf course. So again, some trial and error is definitely going to be involved as well. Also, I found out that my stroke wasn't the issue in missing putts. It was my ability to accurately read greens with my tendencies. Since I've known this information, I've been able to make improvements in my putting that I otherwise wouldn't have been able to do. Knowing the right information helps. It helps substantially. But going out and getting that information... by going out and getting that information, you are setting yourself up for success and putting yourself ahead of the competition. This is so incredibly true. Again, like, if you have the right information, you can put it to good use and you can make huge strides. It's not, think of it like this. When we're golfing, most of us are golfing, and it's like we're playing golf in a dark room. Okay? We're trying to get from one side to the other, and we're trying to do it as fast as possible and avoid all the obstacles in the way. Okay? What the technology does is it gives you a flashlight, so you can see around a little bit better. And you can see what's coming, and you can see kind of how you should go about doing things. Okay? So technology is pretty important. And ultimately, I mean, you want to win, right? These machines are also great when it comes to fittings. Golfers respond differently to shaft length, hosel shape, loft, alignment, dots and lines, head weights, grips, etc. You can know if there's any positive shifts in your data when you swap things out. Can be really beneficial to your putting. And what I mean by this, that was kind of a jumbled up phrase. So what happens is when you mess with shaft length, hosel shape, loft, alignment, dots and lines, head weight shifts, grips, head shapes, these things, everyone kind of has a different reaction to these things. And so what you end up seeing is you see a lot of people using a putter that doesn't mesh well with what they should be looking down at. And when you swap it out for something that looks different or a little similar, you could see vastly different results in where people aim. It's a really brilliant thing. I don't know a ton of stuff on it, but one of the big companies that promotes this is Edel Golf, EDEL. I believe they're down in Texas, and they do custom putter fittings. And their whole shtick is that they will give you what helps you line up the best and hit the most consistent putts. And so every single person has a certain formula. Let's go formula to do that with. And so they give you the best putter to help with that. And so they mess with dots and lines, and they do different putter faces and inserts and head shapes and hosel shapes. And so, I mean, they have like thousands upon thousands of different combinations that you can try with clubs, and it's really, really awesome. And you can get a putter that is very well fit for you. I've done this, and the results are pretty cool. However, I did not like the putter that was built for me because it didn't feel the way I wanted a putter to feel. And I didn't really feel like messing with it enough to try and get it to feel a certain way. So that's why I went back to my old putter. But if I could find a putter that made by the same company that I'm using now, that was similar in spec or exactly like the spec that I had with the Edel putter, I would probably jump on it as soon as I could. But alas, I keep searching. So anyways, Golf does a pretty cool thing. Not afraid of giving them a free plug for using some cool stuff to help golfers play better. To them, it's not about selling putters; it's about helping you putt better. So they're a cool company. So yeah, if you're looking for a way to improve and you need a more precise fitting, those guys definitely have your back. And their putters aren't crazy expensive, so keep that in mind. Now that's about all I got for you on that. Like I said earlier, if you want to try before you buy, trying to rent a machine's not a bad idea if you can find someone that will rent you one, or spend some time with you on one or whatever. If you don't feel like dropping all that cash at once. Now let's move on to what I'm working on. Right now, I am working on my wedge distances with my clock system. The clock system is a simple way to improve your wedge game, literally overnight. In a nutshell, the system takes 3 quote-unquote times, like times on a clock, and those times end up corresponding to a different yardage for each club. Factor in you choking down on the club some and changing the ball position, you can get up to 81 different yardages in a hurry. Yes, this is very true. I wrote this down. I've known about the system forever, and I've used it forever. But I wrote this down, and I went through, and I said, hey, Tyler, you know what? Go through this whole system again just to see how long it takes you. And literally a couple of short practice sessions, in freezing cold weather, mind you, I was able to completely get set up in a couple of practice sessions, like 2. I got roughly like 27 different yardages in 2 practice sessions, which is awesome. So that was a great foundation to start really quick. Again, it was cold, it was windy, it was not very fun to do this when I did it, but I wanted to do it, and I wanted to see how long I could do it, how long it would take me to do it, and I wanted to say, hey, like I did it, the weather sucked, and it was really quick and easy. And so now I'm taking this to the nth degree, and I'm doing a lot of really solid work with my own game. And so, I'm working on this clock system, and it's awesome. If you want more information, check out the website or my Facebook page. That's where I post most of my awesome stuff. So check me out there on that. This week's tip of the week is on approach shots. In order to hit accurate and repeatable approach shots, you need to know how far the golf ball flies and how far it can go. If you don't know what you can do realistically, you won't be able to hit accurate and repeatable shots on demand. This is a big reason why most golfers can't and don't play at a high level. So, know your distances, know your abilities, know your capabilities. Conclusion, we are all done. That's all I have for you this week. I hope you learned a lot and are looking forward to the next episode. Thanks for listening. Yeah, this was cool. I enjoyed putting this together. And next week's episode, as I believe, is going to be on approach shots. So, this was a lot of fun putting together, and I hope you got a lot out of it. Again, it can get a little overwhelming really quickly, but that's why you have me. You can always talk to me about stuff. I'm happy to help you guys out with your golf games. So if you have any questions, obviously send them to me. You can go to the website or tyler@tylerdicegolf.com, or find me on Facebook, and you can shoot me a Facebook message there as well. I do a pretty good job of getting back to people very quickly on Facebook if it's not the weekend. The weekend, I'm busy. So I'm usually playing with my little girl or doing other things. So, if got any questions or comments, shoot them to me there. Happy to help. Happy to answer anything. And so that's all we got. Thanks for tuning in, and I'm going to let you go, and we'll see you on the next podcast.